Yes, 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 yes. Today, I am going to talk a topic about I am ready to come to you. I am ready to come to you. My topic today, it is financial stewardship, but the subtext of my communication is about I am ready to come to you. Why will I say I am ready to come to you when I am talking about investment? Why will I use the context of I am ready to come to you? What am I coming to you to talk about? Why is Paul writing to the Corinthians and says these words, I am ready to come to you? Then he says, and I will not be burdensome to you, for I am not seeking yours, but you. I will not be burdensome to you. I will not be of any burden to you. I will not bother you with many support and everything. But I'm not coming to seek yours. I'm not coming to ask what you already have. But I am coming to seek you. Then the second part of this context says that for the children ought not to lay up for the parents, but the parents for the children. Paul is writing to the Corinthians and he's advising them, speaking to them, and writing to them that I am coming. That is in the book of Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 12 and 14, that I am coming to you, my children of faith. I am coming to you, my children. Then it says, my coming is not going to bring any burden to you. It is not going to bring any pain to you. But my coming is to seek you, not to seek what is yours. Then it says, for the children ought not to lay up for the parents, but the parents for the children. Here, Paul is talking about being a good steward. Being a good steward toward the relationship of children and their parents. So it is the responsibility of parents to provide for their children rather than the other way around. In this context of the passage, we find that Paul is defending his own ministry and addressing accusation that he is seeking financial gain from the Corinthians, or is seeking financial support from the Corinthians, but he's assuring them that he does not seek their money or resources, but he desires a close relationship with them. In the second verse, Paul makes this statement, the children not to lay up for the parents, but the parents for the children. This can be very interpreted as a statement of responsibility that we, the parents, must have and must provide for our children. That is where I'm coming from, the word stewardship, because the Bible says in Luke 14, in Luke 12:48, from everyone who has been given much, much will be required, or much is demanded. And from those who have been entrusted with much, much more will be asked of them. Stewardship. When God has entrusted us with much, when we have been given much, much is required of us. Much is required of me. Much is required of you. Much is required of us, so that the next generation of our children shall have enough. And also, the Bible talks in 2 Corinthians 9:6-7, that whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, but God loves a cheerful giver. This is still stewardship. Stewardship is the living a life that reflects of the faith of God has done for us. So in financial planning, now the question comes in, Daniel, what are you telling us about stewardship and financial planning? My question is, have we laid enough for ourselves? And are we good stewards of our finances? Today, I want to show you how many have succeeded by being good stewards of their resources, of being good stewards of their work, of being good stewards of their money, of being good stewards of what God has entrusted them, of being good stewards of their income, of being good stewards of their businesses, of being good stewards of their investments, that it may grow to add more value, may grow to add more value, may grow to add more value to what God has entrusted us. So I am logging in and I'm going to share one of the things, the areas that we can be good stewards with our money. Good stewards with our money. Sorry, I'm talking and yes. Good stewards of our money. When I talk about good stewards, really, how do we become good stewards of our money? I work with insurance companies that have put structures, things in place where we can be good stewards. We have two forms of stewardship, where you have the protection, where you have the growth, and where you have a combination of two. So today, I am going to talk about where you are growing your money. Growing your money. Many of us are working in healthcare or any industry. We have our businesses. We are growing our businesses. Let's say, for instance, you are living in Washington, and you are a young person of 40 years old. 40 years old. Oh my. 40 years old. And you're putting aside some money for yourself to grow yourself. And you have, let's say you have 20 years to grow your money. Now, if you're a male who is 20 years old, and let's say every month you are putting aside $500 that you are growing for the next 20 years. Let's say 25 years, because that will put you at the time of retirement. You are saving, $500 every month. So in a year, that is to say, you have invested $6,000 into your retirement. That's like the average retirement contribution that is allowed with IRS. So let's assume this money, because you're young, you're putting it in a good, aggressive investment. And let's see what happens. So for my cousin, a little bit, you'll see. So year one, from 40 to 41, you have contributed what? 6,000. Now, this 6,000 is put into an index, an annuity that grows over time. So the first year interest you are earning is $74. There is some churches here, Red Post Church. I want you to, this is some of the expenses, but let's say your accumulated money by the end of year is 6,014. It should have been 6,074, but because of this charge, it goes down. And I will explain that charge, what is the essence of it. Now, if you want to withdraw this money, it is going to go a little bit lesser, but this lesser is going to increase over time in 10 years because you're committing a long term. But in case of death, you will receive, your loved one will receive what? $6,014. You see that? 6,000. So if you have invested for 10 years, when you are 50, so yes, okay, 10 years is right here. You've contributed for 10 years, that is $60,000. $60,000 in 10 years. Your growth has grown to what? To 93. So in 10 years, you have earned almost half, more than a half of your investment as interest. Tell me, 10 years, you have invested 60,000 in 10 years, and you have gotten what? 93,000, okay? Now, let's assume from there, you go again another 10 years. That puts it when you are 60 years old, right there. So that is what? 20 years times 20 times 6,000 is 120. Look at the value that you have at that time. So I want to align these. 361,000. You have invested 20,000, 120 in 20 years. Your value has grown to 361,000. So you continue at 40, you have reached, you've contributed for 25 years. So that means you've contributed 150,000. By the time of the end of that, your value has grown to what? To 714,000. Tell me, your money has grown that much, 714,000 every total in 25 years, okay? That is investing 150,000 total for that period of time. Now, if you stop continuing growing that money and you leave it there, this money keeps on growing. The value, by the time you are 70 years old, your value has grown to $1 million. By the time you are 80 years, $3.1 million. By the time you are 90 years, your value is $9 million. By the time you're 99 years, the value is $25 million. So you invested 150,000 that has added value to your money. Added value to your money to grow your money. If you were investing this in real estate, 150,000 by that time in 20 years, will the value of your house be 714,000? And this is when we did it 5,500 every month. Let's assume you have retired and you're saying, you know what? I want to enjoy my money for the rest of my life, and how much can I withdraw averagely every year from age 65 because I've retired? So you're ranging between 65,000 a year, because you can see 65 is the lowest, and the highest is what? 79. I think I saw, yeah, the highest is 79,000. So you're looking at ranging between 65 and 79,000 a year. And still, if God forbid, he calls you home at that, let's say from the age of 90, still your family is going to receive 666,000. So this is the one thing I'm talking about, being a steward. Being a steward of your resources. Many times, affording these 500 every month as an investment, this is how it works. Now, let's assume we said, hey, this person said, no, I already have that 150,000. I don't want to contribute, and I want to put the whole lump sum, 150,000 somewhere, okay? And you're not contributing anything, you just got it, okay? Now see what happened. Because we put that money ahead of time, your investment is what? 219 at the time of retirement. And the time of retirement, 150,000 that you invested. This is where we find many communities are growing richer and are becoming more wealthier because their parents planned ahead. How can we plan ahead something like that? Okay. I do understand, let's say if some of us still have mortgages, expenses, and you're saying, you know what, I can't be able to afford that. How do we go about that? That is a discussion we are going to have in our second video. We're going to talk about life insurance. Now, how can you access this money? So this money is readily available to you depending on the nature, how it's structured, because each client is different. Some money will be available to be taxed, some will not be available to be taxed, depending on your situation as a client. What is the source of that money? So now, therefore, when we look at this and you're saying, hey, I'll be getting 217,000 after investing 150,000, and I've left it there for 5 years, for 25 years. And you are receiving that money. You can afford anything you literally want to afford. Okay? You can afford everything you literally want to afford. That is what I wanted to share with you. And I want to tell you that let's be good stewards of our resources. Let's be a good steward of what God has given to us. Let's be a good steward of everything that God has enabled us. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful time. This is your friend, Daniel. Now, I forgot to say, how can you be able to reach me? My area phone number is 763-301-1558, 763-301-1558.